Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming out tonight to the second evening of the North 65 Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forums. My name is Melissa Bettendorf, and I'm the Executive Director with the North 65 Chamber. We're here this evening to bring local candidates and community members together to engage in the democratic process and provide an informative experience for voters. Tonight, we'll be meeting the candidates for Cambridge City Council, Isanti County Sheriff, and Cambridge-Isanti School Board. Before we get started, let's review the guidelines. This event is being recorded. A recording will be made available to the public unless a technical glitch prevents us from doing so. Candidates were provided a copy of the guidelines with their invitation to tonight's event. Guidelines are posted at the door and available at the entrance. The purpose of this forum is to provide information. It is not a debate. Questions must be submitted in writing via the online form, webinar Q&A, or note cards on site. You'll see the blue basket here at the front. Please feel free to come up and get a card at any time. There's also pens. There'll also be someone coming around from time to time to collect questions. No guest may speak directly to the candidate or the moderator. Please address your questions to all the candidates, as all of the candidates will have the opportunity to answer each question. The moderator will inform candidates of the time allotted to answer each question. A timekeeper will provide notice of time remaining to the candidates using a sign, which is located in the front. The first speaker was determined by random drawing earlier this evening. Second and subsequent speakers will move toward the candidate's left, audience right. In our short time this evening, we will only touch the surface of many important issues, and unfortunately, we will not be able to answer all of the audience questions. We do encourage you to reach out to the candidates for further discussion. We appreciate the volunteers who've made this event possible. Co-hosting the event with me tonight is Chamber Assistant Director, Vanessa Hansel. Vanessa will gather your questions and will be overseeing our online audience. Our timekeeper tonight is Diane Rasmussen. Diane's in the front row. She works at Cambridge Medical Center and serves on the Chamber Board. I want to thank the team here at Anoka Ramsey Community College for hosting us tonight and for supporting our online presence. We've got Greg in the sound booth, so thank you very much. And tonight's moderator is Judith Kistner. Judith is a local business owner, a chamber member, and is active in our community. Thank you for sharing your time with us tonight, Judith. And let's begin.
Thank you, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. I do feel like I should share one other thing. I am in fact a neutral moderator. But on November 8th, I will not have the opportunity to vote for any of the candidates that will be here tonight. I do own a business in the city of Cambridge. However, I actually live in Passaic County. So let's get started. Our first question is, we will begin tonight with introductions. Candidates, you will each have 2 minutes to introduce yourselves. In a coin toss, Bob, you are selected to go first.
Thank you. Suppose the clock is running now, isn't it? My name is Bob Shogren. I have to write things down because otherwise I forget some of the things here, so please, bear with me on this. I'm running for re-election to Cambridge City Council. I have about 15 years of service on the council, the first 12 years from 2002 to 2014. And I was elected again 4 years ago. When first elected, the population of Cambridge was right about 6,000. Today, it's about it's almost 12,000, almost 11,000, excuse me. So it's almost doubled. Over those years, I worked with the rest of the council to bring in new businesses such as Coles and Fleet Farm, Applebee's, just to name a few. When I started on council, Cambridge was coming out of a dark financial situation. I'm sure most of us would remember. And we worked together to get the books balanced and to pay the bills. Today, Cambridge is has one of the best bond ratings in the state. Most of the streets and infrastructure have been replaced or repaired. The tax rate has dropped from being one of the highest tax cities in the state to the bottom half of the scale. Even during the recession in 2008, the city of Cambridge pulled through prosperous. Our core government services, public works, public safety, community development have all kept up with the amazing growth of our community. I'm running for re-election because I want to be directly involved in the next chapter of Cambridge. I want to keep our community the best place to live, work, and raise our families in the region. If I'm re-elected, I will continue to work for all of us. I will work to keep our streets maintained, our families safe, and to bring businesses that we all want to Cambridge. I will continue working to bring our tax rate even lower than it is now. I thank you all for participating, and thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Amanda Wisner, and I'm running for one of the 2 seats on the city council. I've lived in this area since 2007. It is important to me as a homeowner within the city limits to see just how the workings of the city are done. One of the biggest things that I have wondered myself most recently is about the taxes. And I wanted to see for myself just where our money was going. And that was part of the reason why I was interested in running for the council. I also I have no background in politics, and I would like to come in as a fresh set of eyes. And as someone who is a constituent of the community, as well as everyone here, to see just how things are done. And somebody told me once that a great way to get started was at the city level. So that is why I'm running. I am passionate about living in this area. This is where I work, I live, I raised my babies here. And I want to help see Cambridge stay as great as it has been for years to come.
All right, since you started that. All right, Bob, since you started standing, I hope we're not gonna stand for every answer.
I was hoping that I set a precedent, so.
Well, then I'm gonna sit down. No, I'm kidding. All right, before I get started with my time, I'd like to thank Vanessa, Melissa, the chamber, Judith and Diane for your commitment to putting on this event tonight. Also Greg and Anoka Ramsey Community College, thank you very much. And most importantly, I want to thank you guys, the voters, for coming here tonight to evaluate us candidates and help you make a decision on who you want to support to run your community. It's very important. Thank you very much for attending. A little bit about me. After working 11 years in law enforcement in North Dakota, I relocated with my family to Cambridge in 2014. I spent the next 7 years working in education between the Cambridge Isanti School District and the Rum River Special Ed Co-op. I've had the opportunity to coach 5 seasons of high school baseball. In 2019, I was elected to the Cambridge Isanti School Board and currently serve as the vice chairman. This position has afforded me the opportunity to not only hand off a diploma to both of my children, but the opportunity to serve on numerous city, regional, state, and county boards, advisory boards, and councils. Additionally, in 2019, I was appointed to the City of Cambridge Planning Commission and have subsequently been promoted to the chairman, where I currently serve. I'm also a member of the Cambridge Curling Club, secretary for the Cambridge Lutheran Church Property Committee, the president of a 501c3 nonprofit called the Minnesota Beard Mustache Coalition, and I volunteered at the Cambridge Surplus Food Distribution. These opportunities have motivated me to learn more about public administration and leadership, so I enrolled in a master's degree in public administration program in December of 2021. This experience has strengthened my knowledge and understanding of creation of policy, municipal budgets, human resources, ethics, and governance. Political leaders have great responsibility, and citizens expect their leaders to make decisions based on experience, intelligence, and with emotional balance. I recently became the city planner for the city of East Bethel and currently reside in Cambridge Precinct 2 with my partner, Jenna Koperbeck. I'm excited for the opportunity to put my decade of public safety experience, education, and community dedication to work for the citizens of Cambridge. I'm seeking a seat on the Cambridge City Council. There are more exciting things on the horizon for our community, and I'm dedicated to continue to make a difference and leave a mark.
Thank you. Amanda, you'll go first for the next question, and I'm going to. No, I'm going to actually invite all of you to sit down.
All right.
There remain any questions? Our next question, you have 1 minute to answer. And the question is, what issues do you believe are most important to the citizens of Cambridge?
So I did have opportunity to speak with a few folks around town, and one of the biggest sort of issues were different zoning things for businesses in the downtown area. And I was curious as to why things were the way they were. And I know that as the city is growing and they're wanting to expand to the outer areas more so than just the downtown area. I wanted to look and see how there was a way that we could bring them together.
All right, biggest challenge facing constituents to the city of Cambridge are related to the current status of our global economy. The increased cost of goods and services passed on to citizens ultimately affects every family's bank account. When individuals are forced to pay more for basic necessities of life, there is less money introduced into the community's local economy. Families are forced to make choices based on need rather than enjoyment or entertainment. Additionally, affordable and available housing in our community will continue to be affected by the global economy. The cost of building supplies, increased fuel, labor have all slowed the growth of housing stock in our community. This economic condition has trickle-down effect that will take a collective government approach to manage.
I agree with everything that Aaron just told you. That the city is very much the same as families and businesses, meaning that they have to work, operate, live within their means, just like the rest of us do. I think that taxes have been a significant concern for people who live here. But as I said in my opening, Cambridge is continuing to reduce the tax rate. And I know it's hard to believe that when you look at your tax bill every year and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher, but there are so many, parts to that tax bill that, it's hard to see the savings that your leaders are helping to accomplish here. So I think we need to continue to reduce our tax rate, to keep more money, hopefully, within your wallets, bank accounts, etc. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, we'll start with Aaron, and if this is a 1-minute question, what do you hope to accomplish as a city council member?
All right, having a degree in planning and being a city planner, I do believe that it is important that we evaluate and recruit and promote the development of our industrial park. We also need to assist our current businesses and or industry partners in redevelopment or regaining or overhaul or upgrades. Giving them an opportunity to grow and expand will also expand our tax base and help reduce the amount of property tax that each of us pay in. So I'd like to fill the industrial park, and hopefully Alina will be a great spark for that.
Cambridge has a beautiful downtown area right now. We have several businesses that are working very hard. They're starting to prosper again since the pandemic. I think that It's important as a city council, not just one of us, but all of us, to work with the business owners in downtown. And also the rest of the city to make sure that the businesses can still have every opportunity to prosper. We are, city council currently is working with downtown businesses to see what can be done to make downtown attractive to people, like maybe a destination. But I think that's what I want to accomplish first off. And hopefully many more things later to come after we solve. So I'll maybe try to solve that problem. I guess it's just one thing at a time. Thank you.
Back in 2021, the city set some short-term goals for them to reach their vision for the city. I believe that before or when they were set, we hadn't at that point seen the levels of inflation and cost increases that we have recently. One thing that I would like to revisit is some of those goals and seeing if there is a way to, if there's anything that could be tweaked as far as saving money for what's going into it.
All right, the next question, we start again with Bob. How would you work with local businesses and the chamber to make sure the city is considering policies that positively impact businesses? You have 1 minute.
Cambridge has some tools to help the businesses in the city. We have a downtown loan, a revolving loan fund. We have some funds that are coming in right now, you know, from the state and the US government that will help us with some important infrastructure things, but mostly water, sewer kinds of things. I guess what we just need to prioritize what is most important for the at least downtown, you know, and the outside parts of the city, you know, the east side and so on, you know, everything over there is so relatively new that we just need to try and just keep our levy in check to, you know, try and keep money in the bank accounts of the businesses as well. And we are currently a member of the chamber as well, and we just need to maintain that membership.
I believe that one of the best ways that we can encourage the businesses to fill the downtown vacancies that we have would be to utilize some of those funds for renovation of some of the storefronts. I know that there have been a few businesses that have tried to come into some of the storefronts that for whatever reason weren't able to. I would like to see if there were any way that some of those funds that were allocated as grants would be able to help renovate those areas to draw potential businesses there.
Judith, could you remind me of the question, please?
Gladly. How would you work with local businesses and the chamber to make sure the city is considering policies that positively impact businesses?
Thank you. Attendance at local meetings, listening sessions, seeking input, utilizing citizen focus groups, working with regional partners such as the East Central Regional Development Commission, state and regional partners as well to leverage resources available to improve our downtown and or our other businesses. I would encourage city staff to continue to involve these citizens and stakeholders in discussions to promote the use of the redevelopment or the revolving loan fund. I would also encourage the city to look at providing free design assistance or an expedited permit review process to allow our businesses to get onto their projects a little quicker. And then planning is important, right? The successful communities have a vision for their future and build plans that enhance assets while paying attention to the aesthetics of the community. I believe, actually, I know Abraham Lincoln said it this way: the best way to predict the future is to create it yourself.
All right, for our next question, we'll begin with Amanda, and you have 1.5 minutes to answer. In the 2021 strategic plan, encouraging and facilitating the revitalization and restoration of a vibrant downtown was identified as a core strategy for the city. What one program, investment, or change would you propose for the greatest positive impact in downtown? And how would you accomplish this change?
I believe that there would be a benefit to having conversations with potential business owners in the area that are wanting to start businesses and find out what is stopping them, especially in the downtown location. What is hindering them from starting their businesses there versus if they were to build something outside of the general or the immediate area there. Finding out from business owners and potential business owners what it is that they need, and then finding out from the council what plans or what sort of things are available to help them sort of kickstart the startup of their businesses. I think that having input from them are one of the most important things, and then finding out what sort of allowances the city has to draw them in.
Okay, back to the answer to my previous question. I think these are hand in hand. Again, working on creating efficiencies within the building department, encouraging the creation of free design assistance or an expedited permit review process to get these projects started will aid local business owners in improvement, enhancements, or expansion. All of these things would make our downtown more attractive place for people to visit. What attracts visitors to locations? It's the uniqueness. And if downtown Cambridge looked like every other downtown, we wouldn't have very many visitors. No community development project holds any greater weight than the other. However, they all have specific value. And if we can find a way to expedite or assist our businesses in creating plans, we'll have a better impact.
Amanda was right, but she touched on the, some of the businesses that tried to start up in Cambridge, they failed for one reason or another, and one of those reasons was because it was cost prohibitive to install, a big enough water main to provide fire suppression sprinkler systems. So the city has a redevelopment fund, and one of the things that we're considering using that for, or the council's considering using that for right now, is to perhaps plumb all of downtown, or at least, or the businesses on Main Street anyway, depending on how much money there is, to allow them to have the right size main that they're gonna need in order to sprinkle their buildings in case of a fire. And that's kind of a code issue nowadays. Businesses can't go in, a restaurant can't go in, for instance, in Cambridge unless, in downtown Cambridge, unless it has that significant water main to sprinkle the city. So that would, I think that's probably one of the most important things we can do to bring, to fill those storefronts that are empty, and also to, it accomplishes a couple of my goals, one of which would be economic development, to bring businesses in, and also to provide for the public safety. Thank you.
All right, Aaron, we'll begin with you. And this, you'll have 1.5 minutes to answer. How will you ensure transparency in city government?
You wanna go with 1
I
minute?
bet you can answer in 1 minute.
I bet I can do that
We're
as well.
getting to the end.
Yes, so as an employee of a local government and or a member of a governmental unit here in Cambridge, we have a number of guidelines and or state laws that must be followed in order to conduct meetings. Those things cannot be violated, or they are a little bit expensive on the city's behalf. So increasing transparency, from my experience, I've attended a number of city council meetings. I've attended a number of planning commission meetings. There's limited attendance by the public. All of these meetings are made, people are made aware of the meeting minutes, the meeting dates, the meeting times are all published. And some cities have recordings of these minutes and or meetings available online, which the city of Cambridge does. The city hosts an annual truth and taxation meeting, which you can go and ask questions about the taxes and how they're related to your property tax. And it looks like my 1 minute is up.
The city of Cambridge has significant, actually, we're very transparent with what we do. All of our meetings, as Aaron said, are all public. We encourage people to come in and attend those meetings and to address the council at the citizens forum, attend public hearings. You know, we follow the law exactly the way that we should as your representative on the city council. I think that, you know, we also have a Citizens Academy every year that we invite people to come and learn about how the city operates. You know, and that's everything from, you know, with the sewage treatment plant all the way up to, you know, how the fire trucks run. I mean, it's the whole gamut. So we just need to continue with what we're doing. We're already quite transparent to the public. You know what we know.
The city council members are sort of the first level of communication between the public and the entity as a whole. City council members act as a liaison between the city and the community. And one of, I believe, the most important things to ensure transparency would be to actively include and invite people. I've been telling people, you know, if you're not happy with something that's going on, you need to be a voice. You need to go to these meetings. You need to get out there and, you know, voice your opinions. I've said it before, you know, I live here because I want to. And I think that there's a lot of us that feel that same way.
Thank you. And Bob, we're back to you. And this is a 1-minute question. What initiatives will you propose to keep, to keep level or lower the city tax rate?
Would you read it again?
I'm
please?
happy to. What initiatives will you propose to keep level or lower the city tax rate?
I think that, the answer, I guess a two-word answer would be economic development. We need to find ways to attract more businesses into the city. And that includes, is, you know, the industrial park. The one that's been sitting empty for 27 years needs to be filled up. When we bring businesses in, the revenue that they generate in taxes is used to offset the amount of money that the homeowners pay. I mean, we are absolutely blessed to have these businesses that we have right now that help us with you know, keeping our taxes or getting our taxes, you know, lower, because they pay the lion's share of the taxes in the city. But we need more of them in order to keep our tax rate at a level that we can afford. So we can, you know, we don't get taxed out of our homes.
I agree with Bob, how, there is a big push or drive to try and attract businesses to come to this, area. And I think that I mean, if you check out or talk to anyone, you know, I think everybody has a different idea of what sort of things we should bring. Sometimes it's not feasible, and I think that focusing on looking more, you know, yes, plan for the future, but we need to focus on the right here, right now. What sort of businesses can we bring in right now that would potentially attract other businesses in the future that will help level the playing field as far as our taxes are currently?
Thank you. Mine's gonna sound a little bit like a combination of both of theirs. The city of Cambridge has invested in a long-term strategic planning process, which identified a number of goals and core strategies to achieve not only community success, but responsibly manage city finance. I will evaluate resident requests to determine how each fits into the city's strategic plan, determining how projects, plans, or service could be phased into development in alignment with strategic goals. This will aid in minimizing immediate tax impact. Investing resources in attracting new business and or industry partners to our available shovel-ready industrial park is critical. Additionally, aiding our existing businesses in growth or expansion is another priority that will assist lowering the citizen tax burden. It is also important to me to explore ways that the city can help facilitate apprenticeships or internship opportunities with local business and industry partners and Cambridge Isanti schools to provide future employees opportunity to develop job skills prior to entering the workforce.
Thank you, candidates. I'd now like to ask our two candidates for Isanti County Sheriff to make their way to the front of the stage. And then we're going to ask each of our candidates to make a closing statement. We'll start with you, Amanda, and you each have 30 seconds. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank all of you folks for coming out today and for our hosts that were moderating and for everyone who submitted questions. I am happy to be here sitting between these two gentlemen who both know their stuff very well. And I am excited to learn from them, and I am excited to be a voice for everyone here, and thank you.
In closing, Cambridge is at a pivotal moment in its history as the economic center of Isanti County. We need to strategically plan for smart growth, creating opportunities for not only our existing residents, but future residents. The promotion, development, and expansion of business and industry options in our city will aid in tax reduction. With over a decade of government experience, I know what it takes to find common sense solutions, work collaboratively with other partners, and get things done. I would appreciate your continued support and vote in the November 8th, 2020 general election.
I would just like to express thanks once again for your involvement, your participation in this process. I know sometimes it seems that watching the grass grow might be a little bit more interesting than listening to us up here, but we'll do our best here. Sometimes I think maybe we should just have the mayor stay home, and maybe we can just all three of us be on the city council instead. But thank you for allowing us to be the opening act for the debate that many of you are here to see, which is coming up, I think. And I'll be staying for that as well. But just thank you. Thank you again, and thank you, Chamber, and everybody who did something to make this possible.
All right, I'd like to remind everyone in the audience, if you have questions, to please submit them. Vanessa will be coming around again, and we'll try to ask as many of those as possible. Again, we're going to begin this session with introductions. Candidates, you each have 2 minutes to introduce yourselves. In a coin toss, Wayne, you were elected to go first.
Thank you very much. And just to echo Aaron Berg, thank you all for being here and making us worth your time to listen. I say the same thing for Tuesday candidates as well. Thank Chamber for putting this on, the college and all those people helping do this. My name is Wayne Seiberlich. I live in Springville Township with my wife, and we have 5 kids together. From the area, I moved up here as a kid. I went to school in Bram, graduated from Bram, and plan to remain here. my entire life. This is where I will retire. This is my home, and I love my home, which is a big part of the reason why I have chosen to run for office. I've always known I want to be a police officer. I very vividly remember the time when I was 8 years old, and the incident in my life had occurred where I said, I'm going to be a police officer. And that never changed for me. I never wanted to be an army guy one day and something else another day, or an astronaut. I knew what I wanted to do. And when I moved here, I knew that this is where I wanted to do it. In fact, if you look at my high school yearbook, I actually did what I started doing 10 years when I said I would be a deputy in Isanti County. I'm goal oriented, I'm goal driven. When I believe in something, I put my whole heart into it. I believe in Isanti County. A little bit of education. I have an associate's degree in law enforcement. I received from Alexander Technical College. My bachelor's degree I received from Metropolitan State University. I also attended this college as well and given my bachelor's degree. I'm a DEA Academy graduate. I've received certifications of graduation from supervision management and senior management from the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I do have some political background in the legislative branch. I was elected 2 terms to the city council. And in doing that, I learned city policy, planning, budgeting, and grant writing. While on the council, I was assigned to the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Authority, the Initiative on Collaboration, Leadership, and Efficiency, and the Northern Technology Initiative, which is the NLX high-speed railroad tunnel that's in discussion. With Sheriff's Office, I served in our jail, the Boat and Water Patrol, volunteered with Safety Rescue as a field training officer for all the new hires. Less lethal instructor.
Wayne, I'm so sorry, the time is up. Those 2 minutes go so quickly.
Sorry, I didn't see it out here.
Thank you.
Again, I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. We all rely on you being educated voters, and so this is really important. My name is Lisa Lovering, and I am the Chief Deputy of the Isanti County Sheriff's Office. A little bit about me: I currently live out by Speck Lake, about 2 miles from where I grew up by Green Lake. My parents also were in the community, or in serving their community. My mom was a child protection worker for Isanti County. My dad was a Marine and served in Vietnam and was also a reserve police officer. I graduated from Princeton High School, and then I also obtained my master's degree from St. Cloud State with public safety executive leadership. My 2 kids are really active. I'm a hockey mom, a baseball mom, a softball mom, a swimming mom, a dance mom. You get it. I not only have an open door at work, I have an open door at home. I have been a foster parent and raised my niece from the age of 5. I've fostered German Shepherds, and for the last 4 years, I've housed junior hockey players for the Isanti Outlaws. I worked my way up through the ranks. I was promoted by 4 sheriffs, from a part-time dispatcher to a full-time dispatcher, and then I was promoted as the first female deputy for Isanti County. I served as a deputy for 10 years, and then I was promoted to investigations, where I served for 9 years. I went on to be promoted to a patrol sergeant, and 8 years ago was appointed by Sheriff Kalk as the chief deputy. As second in command to the sheriff, I currently manage the day-to-day operations and provide direction and oversight to 85 employees in patrol, investigations, communications, records, and jail, as well as approximately 100 volunteers. I'm also a deputy emergency management director and have a federal emergency management director certification from FEMA. Some of the programs I've developed or overseen include Project Lifesaver for people with autism and Alzheimer's, our chaplains, drone, triad for seniors, as well as I wrote a $60,000 grant to start the North Star Family Advocacy Center in Isanti to help children of abuse.
Thank you. And Lisa, you'll go first on the next question. It is a 1-minute question. What do you see as the largest public safety issue in Isanti County, and how do you plan to address it?
So the biggest problem I see would be mental health. Mental health seems to be the basis for all of our issues. If we have drug abuse, we have issues in the jail. Everyone coming into our jail has mental health issues. So how are we going to address these issues? I started in 2021 a program for mental health for our deputies. Every year our deputies go and see a mental health professional. The rest of our staff are allowed to do this as well, up to 6 times a year, and we cover those costs for our staff. I want to start partnering with other groups, our faith-based community, and get people into our jails to start providing more mental health services, as well as when we respond to calls, that we have more partnerships from community groups and professionals, so we can do more to help these people when we respond. Because right now, we're not doing the best that we can, but we also don't have the staff to do it. So I would write more grants to try and obtain more funding for that as well.
I agree with Lisa that mental health is obviously a big concern in the county, but it's something we're always gonna be reactive to. We can't change that. It's always gonna be here. So what, in my opinion, is the biggest problem that we have is crime. It's crime, and as law enforcement, it's our job to try to do something about that. So how do we do it? Let's look at our drug or our property crimes. Most of our property crimes are driven by drug addiction statistically. So we arrest these people, they go to jail, they sit in jail, they sober up. It's a temporary spin drive, basically. They get the resources they need when they're in jail. When they leave jail, what do? They go right back on the road and they do the same things again because they're not getting what they need while they're in the jail. We have great programs, don't get me wrong. But what we're lacking specifically, like Lisa said, is some of the mental health problems. So what can we do to fix that and make that better? Drug courts. There are over 3,800 drug courts in the United States. Drug courts in Isanti County and through Minnesota, about half of them have it. Recidivism drops 35 to 40%, and it saves on average $6,700 per person versus going to treatment over and over and over.
And Wayne, you'll go first on this 1-minute question. What do you hope to accomplish as sheriff?
A lot of things. So my vision is simple. I want to create an environment where the sheriff's office is seen as a member of the community, not just a police entity within it. I want to continue to gain public trust and coordinate efforts between the community and law enforcement to achieve public safety. So it sounds great, like, well, what does that mean? Well, what it means is when you're a victim of a property crime, I want the sheriff's office to feel what you're feeling. I don't want to just take a report and move on to the next. I want it to mean something. I want to work with the community to do something about this. So we can do this in a number of ways. And number one is being transparent and being out in the community, whether it be being at the fair again, we haven't been at the fair for a long time, or being involved in children's sports and as a sponsor, a number of different things that we can do with these to just be a member of the community again and a partnership with the community. We need to build trust so that people can work with us, so we work together.
So there's a lot of programs that I'd like to accomplish as sheriff. One of the biggest things that I heard Tuesday night was, where do people want us to invest? Public safety. Let's put your money where your mouth is, because we're not getting the funding we need at the sheriff's office to provide the services that everybody wants. We need money to increase our staff. We need money for courthouse security. We need more deputies. We need more dispatchers. We need more jailers, and we're not getting the money to do it. We need more squad cars. We don't have enough squad cars, and we may end up sharing squad cars next year. So how are we going to fix this? We need to start looking for more grant opportunities so that we can start funding these. I would like to see more neighborhood watch groups. Those are free. Let's start bringing those back. We used to have them years ago. I would run them. I think with social media, it's kind of changed and people have kind of gone away from them. I'd like to see that come back because that is free. But budgeting is the biggest thing. We need more money so we can provide the services that you want from the sheriff's office.
All right, and Lisa, you'll go first on this, and that's kind of as a follow-up. If you were awarded a grant of $10 million for your department with no limitations,
That's like double my budget.
with no limitations, how would you spend it in 1 minute?
Well, I would increase staffing, absolutely. If I doubled my staff right now, we would have adequate coverage, so we could actually start assigning a deputy to every township for patrol all the time. Right now, we assign them just as rural patrol, and they do that during their shift. But we're so short-staffed right now, we don't have there might be denying vacation for people right now. So with $10 million, absolutely, I would be increasing more staff. I would also be building a bigger and better training center for our deputies and for our staff, our jailers and our dispatchers. We need a place to train. We don't have anywhere to do defensive tactics unless we go to the Armed Forces Center. So we need more facilities that we would be able to do. How about squad cars? How about more programs? How about a mental health professional on staff? There's a lot of things that we could do with $10 million when that would be doubling our budget.
As you imagine, that's probably the same thing I'm gonna say because it makes sense. That is what we need. We need to focus on the employees and the resources we have that we can give the community. So one of the things that, in addition to what Lisa had said, I would also implement an investigative division. So we look at Cambridge Police Department, Isanti Police Department, they have one investigator, and you know the populations of these cities. The county has 3 investigators, Graham has none. So by statute, the sheriff's office has to investigate all felony level crimes. Why not work together collaboratively so that we can make a difference and help one another so that we can solve crimes together versus independently and individually where things obviously are not getting done to the ability that we could. Squad cars, yeah, we need squad cars. When Lisa's talking about potentially losing squad cars, that was a proposal to give up half of our fleet to the commissioners. I'm not gonna do that. I'm telling you. I understand there's budget issues, but I'm not gonna give up our resources to protect you to save on the budget. We have a lease program, we can get away from the lease program, we can look at state bids. There are other options that we can be financially, fiscally responsible. And $10 million is gonna have a lot.
All right, next question, and you can begin, Wayne. It's a 1.5 minute question. What is your supervisory experience? And please include details about managing staff, budgets, and developing new programs.
So having a background with politics and city council is a huge asset for me. As I said on the city council, it was city planning, it was budgeting, it was being fiscally responsible. I have that same responsibility. I just finished my term as president of the Granby Lions. We had I don't know the numbers, $1.2 million in gambling funds that came through our office that we get to then distribute back to the community, including for $50,000 to our schools. The management trainings I went through with the BCA are not courses that many people get to go to. I'm privileged to have those. The DEA Academy is another one. There are a number of things that I have been able to attend, especially with this is the city council, where I prepared myself as a manager. Let me make this point. There's a difference between managing and leading. Okay, managing is pretty simple. It's spelled out for you. You get promoted. Here's the guidelines. This is how you work. Okay, anybody can be a manager. It doesn't mean you're a good manager, but anybody can manage. Leadership is different. Leaders motivate, they inspire, and they teach. And through my time on the drug task force, 7 years undercover narcotics, I have a background in investigations, undercover operations. I know how to do this job and I know how to teach. As a union steward for the last 6 years, I have the support of many people within our department who trusted me to negotiate contracts with the county commissioners. My time is up.
Next question.
Want me to answer that one first?
Yes, ready when you are.
Okay. So for the sheriff's office for the last over 9 years, since 2013, I've served as a supervisor for the sheriff's office. In 2013, I was a patrol sergeant. And at that time I oversaw patrol and I handled all of the scheduling for the deputies as well as squad cars and made sure that they all had their equipment. For the last 8 years, I've been the chief deputy, which means I'm second in command of the sheriff. When the sheriff is gone, I'm the acting sheriff. With that, I do all the hiring. I handle all of the training, all of the discipline, all of the management of all of the people. I implemented an online scheduling platform for all of our deputies so they can request time off. They can see the schedule from anywhere that they want to look at the schedule. I've also implemented a training online database for when we onboard new employees. It's our field training manual and everything is done online with that. I also implemented an online personnel file. So when we have a personnel matter, whether it's training, whether it's accommodation, whether it's an on-duty injury, whether it's discipline, we can enter an online database for employees and they can see their record. They don't have to ask us to see what they're in their file. Everything is online there for them, so they can see that as well. I handle all of the Lexipol policy, so I update our policy according to current statutes that we need. And I also inspire others. I allow them to do what they like to do. I appoint people who want to handle firearms, drug task force, and Diane, you're messing with me.
Well, that's a good note. Too.
Okay.
But Lisa, to you, and this is a 1.5-minute question. Do you believe there are policies or red tape that should be changed or eliminated? If so, what is your top item? Why do you feel it needs to be changed? And how would you go about accomplishing this change?
That's pretty broad for me. Red tape as far as hiring, we have a lot of problems hiring people right now because of a lot of red tape. So we have a lot of rules that we need to follow as a governmental agency. People are out there offering bonuses for hiring. We can't do that as a governmental agency. We can't use your tax dollars to try and get people in the door. That's something that we really need to do right now, because in 5 years, good luck trying to find cops. We're losing cops left and right across the state, and we need to be able to find a way that we can get more cops in the door as an agency. Even as a lateral transfer from another agency, they're not gonna be making what they're making in Maple Grove to come here. So how do we improve that? I'm not sure, but that's gonna be at the state level. Our legislators need to change that as well, because we can't do that on our own.
So our policy is over 800 pages long. And as an employee and as a union steward, when I'm trying to, I guess, help out the officers who do make mistakes because they can't memorize 800 pages. There are things that we have in our policy manual that are obviously there for reasons, but there are some things that I think that we could do without or change. The question was, what policy might I change? I'm pretty direct in my proactive approach with law enforcement. I would change our pursuit policy. Right now, we do not pursue unless there is essentially, if it's a felony level assault or a homicide, we'll stop that to prevent somebody else from being hurt. Let me give you a couple examples of why pursuits are important. Number one, statistically, you're gonna have a lot more car crashes responding to routine calls than you are pursuits, okay? In May, we had a pursuit that came into Isanti County that started in Heinen County with a drug investigation that went south. The individual got into a vehicle and fled. Now, the Pine County on the interstate, they could have went north to Duluth, they could have went into Wisconsin, they could have went to the metro area, they came to Isanti County. I work with informants people all the time, I'm telling you that they say that Isanti County is a joke because they know that they can do what they want in our county and we're not doing enough about it. So they came into Isanti County and it turned my stomach when they asked for assistance and our sergeant said, no, we'll monitor. Isanti County, Pine County, Kennebec County, Chisago County, the PIC counties have worked together in a uniform collaborative effort for as long as I can remember. We rotate our judges together. We have our task force together. We do all these things together. I wish I had more time.
Wayne, next question for you with 1 minute. What about the sheriff's department are you most proud of? And what would you consider improving?
The thing I'm most proud of is the employees, without a question. There are dedicated men and women in every single department, not just officers. A lot of people think that, we're talking about the police officers. But without our dispatchers, without our jailers, we couldn't function as police officers. We all need each other. One of the things that I'd like to change is we're all separated right now. And I don't know if you realize that or not, but we have a different building. The sheriff's deputies and investigators are housed in a building away from our jail and away from our dispatchers. The problem with that is when you hire new people, you don't know each other, you don't see each other, you don't work with each other, you become a voice on the radio and not a real person. And when I first started here, we were a family. We were very close, very tight, and we worked well and better with the cities. I want to get that back, and it's easy to do. It just needs to be done. What was the second half of your question? I'm sorry. But
Let's see. What is the question? Yeah, what are you most proud of and what would you consider improving, which I think you talked a little bit about earlier, but
the improvement would be how we hire. Okay, we're looking at part-timers and full-timers, right? Nobody goes to college for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years to be a part-time officer.
all right, Wayne, and the next question, am I getting, we're looking at a lot of questions here. Thank you, Lisa, go ahead.
I think what I'm most proud of is, 8 years ago, when Sheriff Cull and I came into office, we had a culture to change in our office. We had some employees that had some problems, some issues, and we had to deal with them. And we had to make some really tough decisions and we did it. I'm really proud that today we've got a really good, strong department, and we've been dealing with the problems as they come. We haven't had to go back and try and fix things from the past. So I'm really proud of the employees that we have. We have employees that step up for different programs, like I said before. They step up because they want to do ATV patrols, or they want to put on an ATV class, or do firearms, or put on a snowmobile class. This takes, we pay them overtime to do it, but it takes them extra time, and I like to boost them up and make sure that we're using their services. To improve, I'd like to streamline our roles to make sure that we all have really clear lanes as far as supervisors and on down, to make sure everybody knows who's handling what in the department, because sometimes they overlap.
All right, Lisa, and this is a 1-minute question. How do you feel about the relationship with surrounding departments or law enforcement agencies? How would you improve these relationships if needed?
So since I've been here since 1991, we've always had a really good working relationship with other departments. We need to have those relationships because we rely on all of these other cops. We rely on these people to back us up when we're out in the county, and the cities rely on us to come and back them up. Sometimes there's only one officer working in these cities. They rely on us or the state patrol to come and do that. So I'm really thankful that we've always had that relationship. Could it be better? Absolutely. But we've had to make changes over the years because of, like, we moved down to our other building. Because the FBI comes in and says we can't have to have our doors locked. Cambridge Police Department can't come in our doors anymore. So how do we fix that? I'm not sure how we can do that, but it's something, you know, we're trying to do things together, and the officers go to lunch together, they hang out together. I think there's always room for improvement, and maybe just getting together and having a family picnic would be one way that we could do that.
Of course, we're gonna back one another. We're all on the same job. We all care about one another. We care about each other's families. We're going to support one another. Is our relationship what it was? It is not. And I can tell you that because I'm out there working it. I'm not in an office where I'm not physically seeing the things and doing the things or responding to these calls. We can improve. And the secret, if you want to call it that, is communication and working together. I've had conversations with the sheriff directly about unlocking our doors, and I've been told it can be done. That there are no restrictions, that it depends on the sheriff, and that he has made that decision to do that for good reasons. I understand. There were issues in the past. I would say you address the issues with the individual. You don't take away from everybody so that we can't work together. I talked about an investigative division. That's one of the first things that we need to do to work better together, to build that camaraderie back, to get that family sense of value back. So we work with one another for you better.
All right, Wayne, and this is a 1-minute question. Are you in support of the K9 program? If so, how do you think it could improve?
I am definitely in support of the K9 program. Now that we're stepping bounds, I'm hoping things go the way I want them to go in November, and I want to actually expand on that. One of the things I want to do is implement a therapy dog into our K9 program. This would be at no cost to the public. Our K9 program is completely funded through donations and grants. Doesn't cost anything to have it. The therapy dog program would be the improvement. And what that is that's a dog who is specially trained to know when to lay its head in your lap or when to lick you. It reads body language. Okay. Now picture this: the little girl who's been sexually assaulted, who has to testify in court in front of the man who did it. How much easier would it be for that little girl to testify with a therapy dog that has been trained to read her body language to make it easier for her to talk? We can use therapy dogs in de-escalating mental health incidents when we respond to them, and just a general overhaul mental health for our employees to have a dog, not a German Shepherd. Picture this: a cockadoodle. That's going to open up so much opportunity for the public to come to us and talk to us and open up that transparency.
I absolutely support our K9 program. I also foster German Shepherds. I was raised with German Shepherds. Sheriff Culp started our program. He was told he could start it as long as he raised the money, and that's exactly what he did. And to this day, we still raise all the money for that. I started the program with all the t-shirts for the K9 fundraisers. I've done that. I also did the stuffed animals for the dogs so that people can buy little stuffed dogs that look like Kojak and Raider and Maverick and Nike. And so they can keep those to support, help support the program. All of the equipment inside of the squad cars are paid for by donations from the community. The officers that have the canines also go out and raise all of these funds. And so they also are very, they're the ones who have to help keep this program going. Otherwise, we don't have a canine program. I think the canines do a really good community relationship and they really build our community. As soon as people see those dogs, they're hooked. They love to see the dogs. So we really like to use those as a community relations tool as well.
All right, and the next question is just a 30-second question. Do you support looking into contracting or a joint powers agreement with another sheriff's office to take over current dispatching due to struggles in getting dispatch staff?
I don't support the idea. However, I will say we're about 2 dispatchers short of doing just that. Because we're short-staffed and we don't have the funds, and we don't have the employees to fund our dispatch center. That's something we could possibly look at, either that or we close it. And we don't have a dispatch center in Isanti County. So I think we need to keep that option on the table because it is a very potential solution to the problem.
I don't know that that's a solution to the problem, and it's actually something that already exists. We have mutual aid with Chisago County, so if there was ever a major incident where we lost our dispatch, Chisago will dispatch for us. It already exists. Do we want that? Absolutely not. The answer is employment and retaining individuals in our dispatch center. So how do we do that? And I wish I could have touched more on it before. It's recruitment. It's how you find these individuals. Nobody wants to go to school for years to be a part-time police officer. They don't want to do the same for dispatch either.
All right, Wayne, the next question is 1 minute. Looking ahead, it's 2032, 10 years from now. What changes do you want to see? What do you want to remain the same?
Well, so let me just go through top priorities, because these are the things that I want to do differently and change. I talked about the drug courts and targeting our property crimes. Rural patrol is a good thing. Rural patrol, we have 452 square miles, 13 townships in 3 cities. And the idea is to put officers out and about and just for visibility. Rural patrol itself does not deter crime. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Targeted systematic patrol does when you're in an area that needs extra patrol. I would change that. I would like to see that enhanced. And when we're fighting these property crimes and drug crimes. We talked about drug courts, I said, the investigative division is something I'd like to see. We can do more for a senior program. In February of 2018, the first time I ran for office, I had suggested re-implementing the triad program, not refounding it or finding it because it already existed under Sheriff Munson. And I spoke to him a lot about this program. Problem with triad is we expect everybody to come to us. We need to come to you, period. You can't just always come to our sheriff's office. You know, so we can do better with that. Education, we need to be in the school.
Thank you.
Was that much time?
And Lisa, same question?
So changes, I think we need to double our staff. We need to have way more deputies. We need to have court security. We need armed court security. Right now, they're not armed in our courtrooms. And you've heard of the stories happening in government centers. We need to make sure that we have them armed in those centers as well. Doubling our deputies would help us be out on patrol. We would be able to provide a lot of these services. We'd be able to go out to these neighborhood watch groups. We'd be able to go out and help everybody more and provide the services that you want from us, because we can't do it right now with the staff that we have. We need more dispatchers. We need more jailers. We don't have part of our jail open because we don't have the staff to staff it. So that means the judges aren't putting them in there. We need to keep increasing our staff. We need the budget to do it.
Thank you. And now we'll give both of you an opportunity for a 1 minute closing statement. And Lisa, you can go first.
The Isanti County Sheriff's Office has been my family for over 30 years. I'm not a politician, and I'm going to give you honest answers. The sheriff is a nonpartisan position and I'll continue to protect your rights and not make decisions based on favors, friendships, or political pressures. I'll hold our police accountable just as much as I hold the public accountable. I'll continue to develop programs and partnerships in our community and work together on crime problems important to you. I worked my way through the ranks, starting as a part-time dispatcher, all the way to second in command. Isanti County deserves to have an experienced leader who knows how to handle all aspects of this office, from personnel, hiring, policy, budgeting, management, developing programs, and community relationships. For the last 8 years, I've shown you that I'm qualified to be a chief law enforcement officer. To run for sheriff, you only need a 2-year degree, a peace officer license, and live in the county. With a master's degree, over 30 years of experience, and 9 years of supervisory experience, I exceed these requirements as the most qualified person ever to receive the office of sheriff in Isanti County.
I deliberately did not prepare a closing statement because I wanted to come from the heart based on the questions that were asked, and this is my response. I've never ever looked at this campaign as a race or as a competition. I've never referred to it as winning or losing. This is a job interview, and you're the employer, and I'm asking to be your sheriff. This is my home, and this may sound corny, and I don't care. This is the truth. When I retire, many years from now, this is where I'm going to remain. And I care very much about what happens, not only to me and my family, but yours as well. It's all of us. I didn't come out of nowhere and suddenly say I wanted to run for sheriff because somebody else's plans changed. Most people know that I ran 4 years ago with the intentions of running again. I said earlier on, I don't give up on things I believe in, and I give it wholehearted. And I'm going to do the same for you and for us and this county. I'm asking to be your sheriff. You got 2 great candidates that you're educated and well-trained. We need to know the person that we're electing as well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. At this time, we're going to take a very brief break. If you are a candidate for the school board, we ask that you be on stage at 7:48, and we'll begin our first question at 7:50. Thank you.
I was trying to tweet by it, and the next thing it went down.
That's well played, though. Good morning. Good.
It's their video, and so even if you turn on your mic, it's still very nice. And so having her at the end and then looking at her from left. Yeah. We found the internet. I better. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, good to see you. Yep.
That's on Mark. You too.
I'll read it. We are having, yeah, go ahead and take it off that. I think that would work best. So any other questions? You can, I know, yeah, you definitely would do that. Yep. Yep.
Wait till you're. Stop.
Everyone will take their seats. We'll get started right on time. We will begin tonight with introductions. Candidates, we will each have 2 minutes to introduce yourselves. In a drawing, Kevin Gross was selected to go first. You're up.
Hello, my name is Kevin Gross. I have been a resident of Isanti County since 2004. Moved here with my wife then, and all three of our children have been born here, and all three of our children do go to the Cambridge Isanti School District. I'm living here. I've worked within the community for the past 16 years. I currently work for the city of Cambridge as a police officer, and my current assignment is a school resource officer. Through this assignment, I have really gotten a deep passion for our schools and to serve our students so that they can have the best opportunity to receive the best education, be safe, and to start life with the best foot forward that they possibly can. I've learned a lot of things in my service with these students, and seeing the needs of our students has really got into my heart, and I really have a strong desire to serve them so that they have the opportunities to be here. Myself, I took me a while to figure out what I was gonna do in life, and 10 years out of high school, went back to college, and that's when I began my law enforcement career there. And, I'm grateful to be a sense of this community. I have a strong desire of living here. Like Wayne talked about, this is my home. We raise our family here and we do not have any intentions of leaving. And I have a strong sense to serve and have chose to run for the Cambridge Isanti School Board.
Hi, my name is Tom Heinen, and I'm running for the Cambridge Isanti School Board. I grew up west of St. Cloud in a small farming community. Grew up on a farm. Met my wife in that community 37 years ago. Yesterday was our anniversary. 29 years ago, we moved into this community, starting a family. And the reason we moved here was because of the school district. We raised 2 children, 2 sons in this district. And so what inspired me to run for school board, essentially, I want to ensure that the students have the same opportunities that my 2 boys had when they were here. And when you reflect on what's been going on in the country for the last couple of years, what's going on with the state education board, just seems like things are changing. And it makes me a little bit nervous. And so I decided that I need to be involved to help our children achieve the same education that our sons had. So the focus will be on curriculum to ensure that our curriculum is aligned with academics, reading, writing, math, arithmetic, and ensure that we continue to fund our technical programs, because it's important that our children have options, right? I mean, I don't know that every student aspires to go to college. We need the trades. And so we need to make sure that we continue to have the technical programs, whether it's agricultural or automotive or industrial arts. And so the dollars that we spend, we need to ensure that they're also spent on those programs, and that we're spending wisely. I have a business background, so I'm not an educator. I think we tend to focus on the educators on the school board, but I think the school board needs to represent the diversity we have within the community and have fresh ideas and diverse ideas.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom, your time is up.
Good evening. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Nick Izzo. My wife and I have been married for 22 years. We have 4 children. We've had a recent graduate from Cambridge Isanti. She is 20 years old, going to be 21 on Saturday. We have a senior and a sophomore daughters at the high school, and we have a 7th and 8th grade son at IMS. I've been a registered district volunteer for the past 15 years, and ever since my oldest has been in kindergarten, my wife and I have been involved in our district. That started a desire to become more and more involved. Through that, I've met a number of members of our community, built great relationships with staff and teachers in our district, and again, had a great desire to learn more. I've coached a number of youth sports in our community for the last 10 to 12 years. I'm happy to see Aiden's with us tonight, representing the youth of the community. Thanks for being here tonight, Aiden. I've served on the district's Community Education Advisory Council for 4 years. I'm on the executive leadership board of the Step Up for CI Education Committee, which is a community outreach committee that helps link the district in better collaboration with the community. Most recently, this committee was heavily engaged in helping to educate our community on the need for additional funding. And as a result, we saw the referendum pass last year, which we're very proud of. I currently sit on our district's finance committee, which consists of a number of district administrators, 3 of our current school board members, and 2 community members, one executive banker in the community and myself. I most recently took part in the district's strategic planning advisory council, which will be a marvelous roadmap for our district in the next 3 to 5 years. As you can see, I love public education. I've given a great talent and time
Thank you, Nick.
to improving it,
It's up.
and my time is up.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you to all of our, the people putting this on as well. I am Nikki Johnson, and I was born and have been raised here in Cambridge all my life. I did sneak away for college, but moved back as soon as that was over. I attended St. Cloud State. I have a bachelor's degree in finance. And I have 2 wonderful daughters who are both Cambridge Senior graduates. They were born and raised here as well. A 2018 grad and a 2021 grad. The 2018 grad is a kindergarten teacher. And the 2021 grad is in her 2nd year of college and is an elementary education major as well. And I am the daughter of 2 public school teachers. My mom became a stay-at-home mother after having kids, but my father was a teacher here for over 30 years and a coach. And because of that, I truly believe in public education. That's how I was raised. And I think that is just the cornerstone of our society is our students and our kids, and supporting the staff and all of the kids is just such a great opportunity. This is a re-election for me. I have had the honor to be on the board for the past 4 years and would be so privileged to gain your votes and be able to serve this community an additional 4. As far as my career, I actually did work for Cambridge County Schools in the finance department for 3 years. Prior to that, I was actually in banking. I don't like to admit that too much, but for 15 years, I was a controller of a bank here in Cambridge. And I currently work as a finance coordinator for Eden Prairie School. So I'm still in school finance. And I think that between my education and my experience and just my love for the city of Cambridge, I hope to be a quality candidate. Thank you.
Hello, my name is DeEtta Moos, and I am a very unique school board candidate, but these are unique times. Let me take you back to the summer of 2020. Over the summer, I watched, like many of you, as several young people in our nation looted and destroyed public buildings, disrespected our police, and committed acts of violence, and I wondered why. So I decided to take some time and look into our schools and find out what on earth is going on and what is being taught. And I hear this as I go door to door. It's like, what is being taught in the schools? Because there's a concern and there's a confusion with the public, with the national narrative going on right now. So I went in, I lost my spot. So I've mentored kids for a long time, and that's what got me that concern. So as I witnessed this behavior, I realized that somewhere in our nation, we're failing our children, and I wanted to find out why. So I began attending school board meetings, asked questions of school board members and administrators, and looked through curriculum, asked questions, and they all graciously answered all those questions for me, volunteered to serve on the strategic planning team. As a group of school staff and community members, we developed 8 objectives and goals for the next 3 to 5 years. And after these 2 years of looking into the curriculum, asking the questions, I would now like to partner with Cambridge Isanti Schools. I am proud of the direction that they are going. And as a school member, I would like to continue to review curriculum to be sure it reflects our community standards and meets the high academic standards. I will ensure there is full transparency between our parents and our schools, and I will hold Cambridge Isanti Schools to their word when they say in the strategic plan draft that we will continually work to earn and maintain broad-based community support. Thank you.
So thank you to the North 65 Chamber for putting this on. Best wishes to all the candidates. Thanks for running, because I believe all of our students are important. They're cared for and they're loved. My name is Mark Solberg. I just recently retired after 41 years of service to our schools. Over the 41 years, I was blessed and privileged to be a teacher, a coach, and now for the last 23 years, the athletics and activities director. Married to Kelly. Kelly is one day away from retirement. Happy for her, so she can join me. She has taught 6th grade at Cambridge Middle School and 2nd grade at Isanti Primary School. We're blessed to have 4 great kids who have received outstanding educational experiences in academics, arts, and athletics at Cambridge Isanti schools. And so we are so appreciative of our present and past school board members, and also our present and past administrators, educators, and all the support personnel that have given them great experiences. I'm running because I want to continue to make a positive difference in the lives of kids. Kids have one shot to be a kid. When they graduate, it's over. They have one shot, and we want to make it the best possible experience. So if you are a present person who has either been connected to our schools or a graduate of Cambridge Isanti, I want to thank you because people like you have established a legacy of greatness. Thank you very much.
Hello there, my name is Thunstrom. I'm running for the school board, District 1011, as all the rest of us are. I was like, can I thank Commerce or the Chamber for putting it on this evening, and good luck to all the candidates. A little bit about me, I'm 53 years old, married to Jody Super Thunstrom. I have 2 girls that have both graduated from Cambridge Isanti. I graduated myself in 1987. I then went on to Minneapolis Business College where I received an accounting degree. And in doing so, after that, I joined the workforce and worked for Upshur Smith Laboratories in Plymouth, Minnesota. Worked there for about 2.5 years. My wife and I decided we wanted a little more warmer climate, so we moved to Memphis, Tennessee, where I worked with Coca-Cola Enterprises as an account specialist there. After living there for a year, we decided we wanted to come back home, raise our family, so we moved back. Raised both our girls in the district. I was born, raised, lived, and still live in the district, of course. After coming back, I decided that as much as I liked being an accountant, I did not like staring out a window all the time. So I became an electrician. Definitely changed vocation and definitely a good learning experience for many different reasons. I've been an electrician for approximately 30 years now. I have run the last 3 previous companies I've worked for, going from budgeting, personnel managing, until the last 3 years, which my wife and I have started our own contracting company. And I am now an independent electrical contractor. So I would like to thank you for your support. And I just want to try to do the best for our bosses, which is really, the parents, taxpayers, and our kids. And make sure everybody's doing the right thing. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alexis Treichel. As you can probably tell, a lot of these people on the stage have a lot more experience than me. Most of them have been employed longer than I've been alive. Which is okay, I'm okay with that. I think that brings a unique perspective for me, a little bit more about myself. I am 27. I am a proud disabled woman. You may know, I keep looking at my phone, I have captions going because I'm hard of hearing. And this is actually, being disabled and receiving my disability has actually been such a catalyst in my life in disability advocacy. I have been working with young disabled women through leadership programs such as Disability Empower Network, which basically gives them an opportunity to survive in the woods for a week. And I've been working with them and talking with these teenagers and seeing what changes they want to see in their communities and in their schools. They all have to do a year-long program or a year-long project that impacts their local community. And so many of them focus on improving their schools. And they have made such a difference. And I was like, wow, they're not even graduated and they can make such a big impact on their community. I want to do that too. So here I am. Somebody asked, they said, hey, school board position is open. Why don't you do it? I never thought I would, but I'm here. I also have lived in Isanti County for basically all of my life. And I do own a business here in Cambridge as well. You might see me at Starbucks sometimes too. That's where I get my health insurance. And I really love this community. And I think that students are the future and they also know a lot more than we give them credit for as far as what needs to happen.
Thank you, and we'll come back to this end. Tom, you'll be first on the next question. It's a 1-minute question. What are the biggest challenges facing the school district and what solutions would you champion to fix them?
I think the biggest challenges are probably community support. I mean, when I listen to people, I think people are not sure that we're headed in the right direction. And so how I would support that would be to listen to the community. I'll be an advocate for the community and listen and participate, you know, in discussion and bring that voice to the school board for you.
You know, I'm not going to take this bait with one big challenge. I think there are so many challenges that our district faces that our administration and our staff have done a phenomenal job of working through and trying to improve on already. As we look at funding for schools, I currently sit on our district finance committee. That is as mentioned, it's a committee representative administrators and a couple school board members now. Through that committee, we've asked hard questions to our district finance, our finance director, to our superintendent. They have opened up books for us. We have been able to see the budgets and where those funds are being allocated. Funding is one of the biggest challenges that we face at the state level, and it comes all the way down to the district level. I'll continue to ask those hard questions, and I'll continue to ensure that our books are transparent.
I would agree, as far as the biggest challenge is definitely finance. Unfortunately, there's little we can do just as a school board. It matters who we vote higher up than us into the state and House and Senate, and to really work with those legislators and reach out to them as board members or just private citizens to try to change how the funding happens in our state and make things more equitable for all schools. Unfortunately, Cambridge does not have the same opportunities as some other districts because of how the formula is set up within the state. So something I think we do have control over is staffing. As we all know, there's shortages of teachers all over the country. And one thing I think as a board is to continue to work with our administrators, have fair contracts, do what we can to have this be a great district.
As I talk to people, I think the biggest issue right now, because of the national conversation, is trust in our schools. And I would like to help kind of dispel some of the fears that some people have, because not everything you hear is happening here in Cambridge, Isanti schools. We have a lot to be proud of in our schools here. And as a community member and spending 2 years asking those questions and looking for those answers, I can give those answers and I can reassure people that our schools are something to be proud of. I think too that we need to maintain the teachers that we have here. We want to hold on to those teachers that are experienced, who are part of our community, because that too will help restore trust, because we know who these teachers are. They've had a long time to be here in this community with us, so restoring trust.
So I agree with funding. I find it fascinating that the state says historic levels. However, when inflation is 8% and the schools are getting 2%, it makes it very difficult to balance budgets. I have sat through many budget meetings, many administrative meetings. In fact, up until the fact that our population, thank you very much for passing our levy, we cut $8.5 million in 3 years. And kids are important. So when inflation is 8 and we're getting 2, and the state of Minnesota has $9 billion plus in the bank. For the betterment of our kids, we have to go after that money. Our kids are important. They're loved. And they're the most important things we have. They're our future. We need to get state and federal funding to be what it should be.
Where do I start? I think funding obviously is a problem. Mental health is a problem in the schools. I think some of the teachers don't feel heard. I think some of the morale is low within that group as well, and parents and others. As a fiscal conservative, I gotta say, my number one is gonna be funding as well. Where the funding comes from, I don't know. Because obviously, if you wanna wish the money down from the state, sure, it's all taxpayer money, it goes back up there anyway. It's all coming out of the taxpayer's pocket, no matter how you look at it. Mark mentioned the $9 billion the state has. That's taxpayer money that was overpaid. That's not a slush fund for everybody. As a business owner, what I do is I gotta try to find ways to either find similar products or a different vendor or whatever the case may be, so not just my customers feeling the pain. Everyone has to share it, especially in this global environment where we have now with inflation and everything else. So I don't think there's an easy answer. I'm not gonna lie to you and say there is, but I think
Thank
a
you.
business background will help.
Thank you.
Before I begin, can I have you repeat the question, please?
Be glad to. What are the biggest challenges facing the school district? And what solutions would you champion to fix them?
Thank you so much. Obviously, one of my biggest passions is accessibility and equity in education. So what does that look like? I think we don't realize how lacking we are in accessibility because we don't consider the needs of all of our students to what they could be using to be the most successful. That sounds a little weird, but why are we having students that are struggling and aren't receiving all of the help that they need? Why do we not have students knowing what resources are available to them? I think we have great educators and education employers and whatever the word is I'm looking for there. But I think that we really need to look at our accessibility and make sure that we're offering as many resources as possible to all of the students to make sure that they can receive the best education possible.
Thank you. We'll begin with Nick. The next.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Kevin.
Okay.
Come on back around. I apologize.
You want to share the question? Go ahead. All right, the biggest challenges, I think. There we go, that's on. The biggest challenge, I think I can say ditto. There's a lot of challenges within our district that we face. Financial, obviously, I think there's a lot of distrust between community and the school. And I like the adage, it takes a village sometimes to raise teenagers especially, as I have a few in my home, and you know, we need a lot of support with that. So I think that trust between the school and the community is a huge thing. If we don't have that trust, we don't have the support of the community, and we need to really work together to get that and get the trust of the community so that we can bridge those differences and work together as a team to raise whatever we may need for these kids so that they can be successful. I know obviously the finances, that's important, but we have to be loud and clear with the state saying we need that money. That's, you know, it's been shown that we're getting unfair money from them. We need to make that equal so that we can have the money to support our students.
Thank you. All right, Nick, this is a 1-minute question. What is your plan for the long-range fiscal and academic integrity of the school district?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, what is your plan for the long-range fiscal and academic integrity of the school district?
Can you use that in a sentence? I have to go back to my previous answer and the experience that I've had you have to understand that school finance is a complete different language than business finance. As I sat down with the director, our finance director, on many occasions, we've gone through the budget line by line. And it is a completely different beast than what a normal business finance mentality is all about. And so the resolution to this, it has to be open and transparent and collaboration efforts with administration and members of the school board. That is the only way that we're going to be able to ensure our longevity. The funds that we are contributing as taxpayers last and go towards appropriate line items within that budget. It has to be transparent. It has to be collaborative. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. Can you say it one more time?
What is your plan for the long-range fiscal and academic integrity of the school district?
Okay, thank you. I guess as far as long range planning, I think our current administration has done a really good job of creating opportunities and committees for the community to participate. When I say communities, as parents, staff, board members, just business owners, farmers, all sorts of things, and they're continuing to do that because of things that have been brought up as far as distrust. And I think continuing that helps with making sure that the administration, the partnership, as far as open the books and see what's happening within the district, and making sure that the decisions that are made by the administration are for the best of the district and for the best of our school.
I agree with Nikki. As I've attended the school board meetings and I've seen them put the numbers on the screen, I feel very comfortable with the spending and the numbers that the school has put forth. I feel like they're being very responsible fiscally, and they've had to make cuts and they've had to rebuild, and I'd like to comment also on the academic integrity. I've asked to see different curriculum and they've been very transparent in that. I would say the academic integrity as a school board member, I'm accustomed to reading curriculum. So I would like to be able to see, see the curriculum as it's being introduced and be part of that group as well. And that I know that there is members of the community also on the curriculum advisory board. So as Nikki said, having community members on all of these different boards and at these different levels of our school and the decision making is very important. And I think that will go a long way in helping to rebrand our trust. Thanks.
Okay, first of all, fiscal integrity. I'm very confident that our present school board and school boards for the last 41 years have been very transparent. There is always a discussion about finances at each and every school board meeting. I can tell you, I think we've got outstanding administrators who care, who are looking out for the betterment of our kids. And as far as the academic integrity, the best thing I think about Cambridge Isanti is that we teach to the standards. The state of Minnesota says what we should teach at each grade level, each and every subject. And I think our educators, our teachers, our administrators, everybody else does an outstanding job teaching the standards. I am very confident we do it the best we possibly can.
What is your plan for the long-range fiscal and academic integrity of the school district?
The plan that I have is, I honestly don't have a comprehensive plan, because I'm not an educator. I've gone to the budget meetings, and I've seen the plethora of information that is put out there. It is enormous. The average person to understand that budget would be difficult. Nick had mentioned they went line by line, and that's great, that needs to be done, and I agree. But sometimes you can't see the forest despite the trees. Is everything in there a necessity? Are we having advisory meetings on that stuff? We need more of that. I think the academics in Cambridge Isanti has been, as Mark says, very well. Our academics should be reading, writing, arithmetic as a base. I have seen seminars this summer with state legislatures that said the dollars in spending go up and the grade levels go down. So we're missing something there. And I think it's going to be a cooperative effort between educators, school board, and parents, teachers. So.
All right, well, one thing I know in my short years of life so far is that you can't budget your way out of poverty, much like you can't create a bigger budget when you don't have more money. So I think looking at what resources are available that we're not utilizing, like where can additional funds come from? Much like a lot of people here have mentioned. Also, as far as continuing the academic integrity, I think it's important to make sure that we're connecting with the community as well as the educators and the students. Where are they struggling? How can we get them together to bring more solutions for their academic experience? Also looking at research-backed improvements, much like peer tutoring. What can we do to make sure that students that are succeeding are still being challenged and still have something to look forward to? Maybe that is peer tutoring, helping somebody that has a harder time. Thank you.
All right, long range fiscal integrity. I think our current administration, I've seen a lot of great things come from them as far as when we had to fight for the referendum. There was a lot of work that went into that, a lot of education that went out to the community. I was a part of some of that education to be a part of that and to see, as Nick said, the budget is a complex thing and educational budgets are different from business budgets. And, the current administration did a wonderful job explaining that. I think continue that relationship to work with them and to fight for our district to get the money that we need to keep supporting our students is very important. As far as academic integrity, I think it's important to keep the quality teachers that we do have, to keep that curriculum coming across so that we can see what's being taught to our kids and make sure that it's the right curriculum for them and what's good for them to learn and start their lives.
So for long range financial integrity, right, it's not an easy question. If it were, right, we wouldn't have all this discussion, right? And so I think we need to, we have budgets, right, but within the budget there are costs. And so I understand it's different than business, but when you're looking at costs, it doesn't matter what budget you're looking at, you have to look at your costs and you have to then determine what you can afford and what you can. And so I think we need to look deeper, not just to cut, but to cut and look where is the best area, right, to have to be spending our money. As far as the academic integrity, the school board put a strategic plan together. I think that lays it out very well. So I would support that strategic plan and create the actions beneath that, and then hold ourselves accountable to completing those actions so that we can achieve our strategic plan.
All right, we'll begin with Nikki for the next question. It's a 1-minute question. What qualifications and experience do you possess that would make you a great school board member?
Well, I probably already said all this, so sorry. No, I again have just about 8 years of experience in actual school finance, which, as we've all mentioned, is very complicated, and I can't even tell you that I know everything, and even with that experience. And then the last 4 years, like I said, being on this board, I've learned so much, and the different committees that I've been able to be a part of have really helped me understand the other side. I mean, I was an employee for the district, now it's the other side that I got to see. And I really enjoyed working with all the administrators and just being part of supporting our staff and supporting our students. And again, I have my job experience as well. And degree in finance, and that's what I use. Thank you.
So like I said, I'm a unique school board candidate. I have been home educating for the last 25 years. We have 4 children, 3 are now graduated, 1 went to PSCO and 1 is planning to. And I taught K through 12. I've had to select and find my own curriculum. I am able to read curriculum. I'm able to understand what curriculum is easily used by the teacher and what isn't too complicated, what is too cumbersome. And so my goal on the school board is to use my knowledge of curriculum to be able to see what is really best for teachers and what will be honored by our community so that they will feel confident in what's being taught in our schools.
So education, experience and leadership. I've got a kindergarten through 12th grade principal's license. I've got a master's degree in educational curriculum and instruction. I'm a certified athletics and activities administrator. I've got a teaching license in social studies and physical education, and also a coaching license. So I think that's my education. As far as experience, I've been a teacher, I've been a coach, I've been a 3-sport coach, I've been a weight room supervisor, I have been the athletics and activities director for the school. So that would be my experience. And then I've got 41 years of experience in our community and leadership. I've been elected to be the president of the Minnesota ADs Association. I've been a community college foundation community member. I've been a Minnesota State High School League board of director. So that would be my leadership abilities.
What qualifications and experience do you possess that would make you a great school board member?
I think the top 2 or 3 would probably be, I'm a parent. I've had kids in the district. I care about them. I care about the teachers who teach them. I have a business background that allows me to sometimes see through the fog and know exactly how to get somewhere without causing too much pain. And I'm also a taxpayer. I mean, I understand when budgets have to be met, and when my budget has to be met, the school board needs to be, or the school budget needs to be met. I think that's all of us here. I don't have a bunch of licensures, but I've lived life for 53 years and I pay taxes for almost all of those. And I raise my children in that atmosphere. And I think that is one of the best qualifications you can have. Thank you.
Well, I think one of my biggest qualifications for this is the passion I have for education and students. All of my life, I thought I was going to grow up to be a teacher. And unfortunately, after receiving my brain injury, going to school was a lot harder, and finding solutions for going to school was not easy. I was often left to figure it out on my own. So a passion for the student is where even being here starts for me. So that would be my biggest qualification, is that I've been working with young adults, teenagers for the last 10 years and training them not only to grow their education as like school knowledge, but to be productive members of society and building up that, basis, that foundation of what they need to actually go out into the world and be successful.
All right, more qualifications and experience, but I possess to be a great board member. I've worked my almost 10 years in law enforcement. Working as a school resource officer, I've learned a lot there about our schools and how they operate and what our students' needs are. I also experienced, I think about time I worked in the mental health field. I learned a lot from that, a lot that has transpired and carried over into my law enforcement career. And it's helped me to communicate with students and to be able to help them out. I really feel that that background can transpire well into the school board to see what our students are going to be needing, what needs they will have to be met through those backgrounds. And, you know, obviously with my law enforcement, I have a lot of training with safety and what to see with our buildings, what we can improve there to keep our students safe and our staff safe. That's what I have to offer.
I think my biggest qualification is a questioning attitude. What I've learned in business world, being a leader for more than 20 years, is that we have to question what we're doing. And so whether that's in how we're spending money, what process or what policies we're setting, and what curriculum we're selecting. I may not have a background in education, but the school board's more than one person. There are plenty of people on the school board that will have that education background. And so I can support that, but I'll question to make sure that we're not following the norm and that we're trying to improve and make change. And that comes from my deep level of experience in my business background.
I believe my professional background has really qualified me for the school board. I have a degree in communications and public relations. I spent a number of years in that field. I moved over to supply chain management with a focus on process improvement, taking a system and making it better. And recently and currently, I'm in business development. And so I'm a professional negotiator, right? And so all three of those professionally, I feel would help in the school board. Putting that aside, I think there's a greater element than a profession, than the skills. It's who you are and your attributes. I'm one that is, I can connect with people and I'm open. I've had an opportunity in the last few months to sit down with many leaders in our community, religious leaders, business leaders, educators, and hearing their thoughts on what can make us better as a district. I think that is a high qualification, somebody that is able to connect and really hear and implement.
Thank you. The next question is a 30-second question, and DeEtta will begin with you. 30 seconds. If elected, do you intend to direct district officials to limit any types of curriculum they teach from regarding slavery, racism, or sexuality? If yes, then please explain specifically what concerns you feel need to be addressed in the district's curriculum.
In 30 seconds.
Only if- Yes.
Got this together.
That's a great question to start off with. So I guess not being a school board member, I'm not exactly sure what role I can play in answering that question. But my major concern and what I'm hearing over and over again is the community just wants to feel comfortable with how things are being taught within the school. So I guess I think it'd be a good idea to somehow express to our community what the role is of the teacher, how they're going to be addressing these hot button.
Thank you. That is
topics.
30 seconds.
Okay.
Mark?
I'll go back to an original answer I had before. I'm very confident. The best thing about our school district is that we teach the standards. So the state of Minnesota will tell us what we should teach, how we should teach it, and when we should teach it. And I can tell you with confidence, our school district and our teachers and educators do that exceptionally well. So the answer would be, we will teach the standards.
A whole 30 seconds. I'm gonna say no and yes. Everything's, you can't group all that together. What does the community feel? Does it, has the poll been taken? Do they agree with it? I haven't looked at the curriculum myself, they don't have kids in school anymore. I think some of it's kind of subject to, the area we're in, whatever the parents, because ultimately the parents and children are who we're accountable to. So I think that's the best answer I can give you at this point.
What a loaded question. In my short 30 seconds, basically, I think I would answer no. And I think that knowledge is power and we need to empower our students and how their education is being received. And I know that there's a lot of fear regarding a lot of the topics that we're touching on right now, but I really think that a lot of the fear comes from just not knowing enough. Like, what does it look like? Let's look at every aspect of it. And I think that'd be an important part of implementing that.
Can you reread the questions, please?
Yes. If elected, do you intend to direct district officials to limit any types of curriculum they teach from regarding slavery, racism, or sexuality? If yes, then please explain specifically what concerns you feel need to be addressed in the district's curriculum.
I guess, yeah, that's a loaded question here, but yes and no, depending, I think currently we're on a good standard. There's a lot of talk in the news about a lot of things that are being brought into the communities. We need to be careful what's brought into our kids and protect our kids. That they're being taught the truth and that the things that are being left to be taught at home needs to be taught at home.
Yeah, how do I say it in 30 seconds? Yeah, it's the same for me. It's yes and no. I mean, I'm not familiar with what the exact curriculum is, but we'll certainly spend time to understand it. It's yes, because as Kevin said, it's around us in our community. So our parents need to have a voice and a say. I understand the state's gonna tell us, right, it's gonna come down and we're gonna have to follow that, but how we implement that still needs to be part of the parents' involvement.
The most important education that I've received is in my home. That has to continue in our community. We have a very conservative community that appreciates values of yesteryear. And those values have all come from our home. As far as what would be pressured into our schools, we have to be visionary.
Thank you.
We have to understand
Thank
what's
you, Nick.
out there and have an invisible, transparent curriculum.
You got Nikki?
Okay, that is a huge question. My short answer is no. Because as Mark pointed out, we do have a standard of curriculum that we follow. And parents are able to teach their children what they want at home as well. But as far as what is happening in our schools, there's opportunities for all citizens to weigh in on standards. You have to reach out to the right legislators and make that a priority for yourself if there's things that you disagree with or are not in favor of.
Thank you. Our next question is also a 30-second question. We'll begin with Mark. Our district has character traits. Which one best describe your personal traits?
Respect. First of all, I was proud to be on the character education committee. We met for a whole year to come up with the 5 words that have lasted for the last 20+ years. Honesty, respect, responsibility, self-discipline, compassion. Outstanding. But I say respect. We have to respect each and every person's view no matter whether we agree or disagree. That's the best thing about a public school. Everybody gets to talk.
That's easy. It's gonna be honesty. If I don't know an answer, I'm gonna tell you and I'm gonna find out what it is. If I give you the honest truth, I mean, I like it sometimes, but at least you're gonna know what it is. You're gonna be able to, decipher enough whether or not it's good or bad for you. And that's my character.
I would have to agree with that one. I would say honesty, as I have probably been a little too honest with you all today. I think it's important to be upfront and just know where everyone is at when you're coming to the table. And that is honesty encapsulated. And honestly, that will do.
For me, I would have to say, and I'm sure my wife will make fun of me for this afterwards, but it's compassion. I have a lot of compassion. I'm kind of a mushy guy, but I have compassion for our youth. They have a difficult time. I see that every day in my job, and they need that compassion, they need that support from us. And I'm here to listen for what they're gonna need and how we can support them.
Our district has character traits. Which one best describes your personal trait?
Yeah, I'd have to say honesty. I only know one way of being, that's to be honest and through that honesty, transparency. And so that's my best trait. I'll bring that, I'll listen, I'll be honest, and you'll be able to trust me.
First of all, I want to thank Mark for listening to those 7. I was missing 2 or 3 of those, so thank you, Mark. I am a compassionate individual, and I want to hear and understand what makes people tick. I think having that compassion on the school board and understanding the community's needs and being able to help facilitate those needs. I think that's one of the greatest things we can do for others, really understanding who they are and loving them who they are and helping them improve in excellence.
I'm going to also say compassion. I am a sympathetic crier. If he starts crying, it's gonna happen here too. No, but honestly, I think it's really important to have compassion, working between. There's so many people in the district, the staff, the parents, the community members who actually, don't have children in the district, but they're still part of our taxpayer. They're still our constituents. They're still important to our district. And I think just having that compassion is important.
And for me, I would say honesty. So when I started attending school board meetings and meeting with the administration, all I wanted was the honest answer. I can agree to disagree, but I just wanted to know that they were shooting straight, and I wanted to know what was being taught, how it was being taught, and what this whole system looks like, and help me to be more comfortable with what the school was standing on, which then I'm able to share that truth with others. Thanks.
The next question is a 1-minute question, and we'll start with you, Wade. Our county, cities, and school districts are growing fast. How do you propose we deal with this sooner rather than later to continue a rock-solid education?
Sell pizzas. I can't tell you, I have not gone into the budget deep enough to see what it's gonna take to educate a child 5 years from now. Do any of us know that? I don't think so. I think some people that have some better ideas, and those are the people we need to listen to. And unfortunately, that's the best answer I can give you, is listen to the right people. I can dig into numbers. I know what they look like, where that revenue comes from. We need some creative people to find that revenue stream.
I would definitely agree with that. I think that as we grow, we need to look at others who have been in the situation before us. Take a look at the history of it and see who has done well, what other school districts, what other counties have grown quickly, and what have they done to keep up and be continuing to meet family and student and educator needs. I would say just continue to look at other people and get that information we're looking from there.
All right, so with the growth in the community, I believe that our school has a great base. And you can never build a good building on a weak foundation. And I believe that we build off that current foundation that we have. And as much as the reason why I'm running is that I have great faith in our current leadership in our school and our district. And I want to help support that and find these ways that can help our schools grow and continue that great growth and to keep that base great and continue to grow bigger. Obviously, there's a lot of financial talk. We're gonna have to grow. I know the numbers are growing in students. Facilities are probably gonna need some help there, but we're gonna have to team together and come together to find solutions that will help solve those issues.
Yeah, I think I agree with a couple of the candidates here that, you know, as we grow, obviously there's gonna be financial issues and we'll have to deal with that. But I think Alexa's right? You need to reach out to communities that already experienced this. I mean, instead of going through this on our own, reach out to nearby communities that have experienced the growth, find out what they're doing. Have them share with us, instead of trying to do it on our own and figure it out. Why not use the resources that are around the state and work through those? I mean, that's the best we're gonna be able to do is just follow what others have done and learn from their mistakes.
The benchmarking is key. As I've been out in the community, this question has come up time and time again, as far as the growth that we're seeing is unprecedented growth, right? And it sounds like we're split. A lot of people are welcoming the added infrastructure. You talk to my son and he would go toe to toe with you, thanking that Taco Bell came into Cambridge, right? And we have others that I spoke with a farmer at Walker Methodist the other day, and he was very concerned about this growth. I feel that the key is not only benchmarking, but what has happened here Tuesday and Thursday. We have tremendous civic leaders, religious leaders. We have phenomenal leaders in our community, and that collaboration with our community leaders, with the school it's what's gonna help us as we see growth. And I think it's coming. It's here and it will continue to come. But working with our civic leaders, that's gonna be a big help in resolving whatever issues come up.
Okay, I want to start by saying that I have really a lot of faith in our current administration to continue watching the growth trend. That is definitely something that is on their horizons and on their agendas, and looking at birth rates, looking at the homes being built, looking at all enrollment numbers and doing a forecasting as best as you can. And nobody has the crystal ball to look into, unfortunately. But as far as where you go with that, then it is reaching out to the community. And if it's I mean, I don't know if this whoever wrote this question is a directive, like, are we going to build another building? That's a huge decision, and that can't be made without all the community weighing in and having that be part of the discussion. Because if something were to happen and, you know, the rates stop and then you have the bill for a new building, that's a really big problem, I guess. I don't know. And so it's just working with everyone.
So here's where honesty and transparency comes in, and trust comes into play. So these are things that are coming, and we need to work right now to rebuild that trust in our community, because these are gonna be decisions that are gonna be asked of our community later. And so it's so important for us to build that trust right now, so that when we get to these points where we need to make these decisions and make these additions and new buildings or what have you, then by then the community has already seen that you have proven yourself trustworthy and will trust those decisions when they come down.
So I think it's important to elect officials who are gonna listen to the public. Because public schools are owned by you, the public. County government is owned by you, the county. The city governments are owned by people within the city, so it's important to listen to the constituents and make decisions. But this growth is something that is a compliment to us. Because we have great quality of life here. There are people who look to the areas of Cambridge and Isanti as some of the best in the state of Minnesota, and that's why it continues to grow. Years ago, we had a counselor by the name of Mr. Doug Kepsel, and he kept track of people. 10 years after graduation, 80% of our kids live here because we have great quality of life.
All right, so we have come to the end of the evening. We'd like to give each of you the opportunity for closing remarks, 45 seconds, and Alexis will begin with you.
I want to start off by thanking you all for coming today. I know it's been repeated quite often, but if there's anything that I've learned in this process so far, it's that we do create the change that we're looking for, and being here is a part of that change. So I thank you all again for being here. Thank you for the chamber for hosting this, and I really look forward to the opportunity to hear the thoughts and opinions of the people here and know what you're looking for. Like what things do you want to improve in the education system? What can the school board do to improve your students and the local families' lives? I hope we have that opportunity.
I do want to thank everyone for being here. It takes a community to create greatness. And this is not a decision that was made lightly to run for school board, but I see it as something that's very important and a calling in life that I need to react to. And so that's why I am here to ask for your vote to be on the school board, so that I can help the school board reach the goal and we can build a strong schools, which honestly I really know leads to strong communities. I'm here to support, and whatever I can do, I want to listen. I realize this is a voted position, and I think one important part about being an elected official is to be open to listen to the community that you serve. And when I am elected, I will be willing to listen and hear your opinions.
I also want to thank the chamber and everyone for coming and listening to us. It's a great platform. Gives us the opportunity to share our thoughts. Just want to clarify a couple things. I think the current school board does a really good job. I think the schools are really good in this community. I want to be part of that to ensure that it continues to be that way. And I'll use my questioning attitude to question what we're doing and ensure that the money that we are spending is being spent wisely. The curriculum that we're selecting aligns with our parents' views. And so I would appreciate your vote for school board. Thank you.
You know, I'm proud to live in this community. I'm grateful for our teachers and staff that provide our children and youth an excellent education. Almost 20 years ago, we moved into this area. We had a toddler and we were pregnant with our second. We had high hopes for them to receive a good education and opportunities to learn and grow. The Cambridge Isanti School District has been a catalyst in that. And we find ourselves deeply rooted within this community. I've decided to run for school board because I want to protect what our family has experienced those last 20 years. And my involvement, my efforts and success in our district have proven my commitment to keep this district a force for good and moving forward for all learners today and in the future. I'm grateful for your consideration for me to serve on the school board, for me to serve you, your community, and your children. We have a bright future.
Thank you again for the opportunity to be here and for everybody who stayed all the way to the end. That's awesome. I guess my closing is just, I love Cambridge. I'm so proud that I live here. I love being on the school board here. I'm proud of our teachers. I'm proud of our staff. I'm proud of our administrators. I'm proud that I'm a graduate of the city. I have, as I told you, I have two daughters. One moved to Arizona because I can't compete with snow and she wanted out. But the other one who is in college keeps telling me how she can't wait to come back here and be a teacher here. And that makes me really proud. And I'm just, yeah, I'm really happy to be here and glad that I'm a Blue Jacket and would love to continue that for the next 4 years.
Thank you all for coming, and I just have to say, after 2 years of looking through the school and coming with a questioning attitude and coming with all the questions that that the community is asking as well, I'm just so happy to find that Cambridge Isanti School is a strong school. I feel like our growth is going to grow very quickly once word gets out that we have a school like this in this community. Because if I was a young family living in another district, I would move here. So yes, we are going to have a growth problem because they are going to come here, and I would like to be on the board to continue what is already being done here.
So the Minnesota School Board Association has guiding principles for school board members. And number one is you should make decisions based on what's best for the students, their families, and the community. You need to be passionate about public education. You're able to make difficult decisions, strong communicator and willing to listen to people, able to function as a member of a team, and to be trusted. And I pledge to you that I will follow those guiding principles. I always figure there's 2 days in the year that are really a highlight. Number one, the first day of school. What an exciting time for those kids, the families, all our educators. And number two, graduation. So I've been very privileged for 41 years to see people walk across the stage and get that diploma.
Thank you.
Some of the people here have gotten those diplomas.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who's part of this process, because I think this kind of interaction, this many candidates is a good thing for a community. It's invigorating, and I think it's fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, I whined a little bit when we passed our last levy. Did I understand it completely? Probably not. So someone said to me, instead of complaining, why don't you do something about it? So in doing so, I spent the last couple of years listening to not only people in my chamber, I listened to teachers and I listened to other educators and other people around me that said, and I think it's really going to be a cooperative effort between educators, the district administration, parents, and the school board to do what we need to do, and I look forward to your support.
And thank you to everyone that has come this evening.
Thank you, Judith. Appreciate your time here this evening with you candidates. Thank you for the appreciation. It's great to see so many people in the audience, and I'm encouraged by that. Thank you to everyone who helped make this event possible. And for the time, we did talk about at the beginning in the evening that we have, that we can only touch the surface of many of the important issues. And we saw some of the questions. We would love to have more time. It still encourages you, there's plenty of time to reach out and have further discussions, and no doubt the candidates for all the offices, I'm certain, would be happy to talk with you so that you can learn more and get all those questions answered. So thank you again to everyone, and with that, have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you.